Hello, how you doing, everybody? My name's John. This is the first episode of Let's Get Cooking. Let me tell you what this site's really about. The site is about, I've seen so many times in life or lately in life, that people are, fast food. They're looking to get things in a box, in a can, because they think everything's so hard to make. From fresh pasta to your own sauces to even the simplest things at Thanksgiving. I'm here just to show you the easiest way to do things. I don't have any professional experience in cooking, but I've done it a lot all through my life. I've tried many things, bought a lot of gadgets. And one of the gadgets today I'd like to review, actually, I was going through Walmart. Well, store like Walmart. Maybe it was Walmart. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. I was looking for a slow cooker. I had a smaller one. It could maybe feed me. That's all the bigger this thing was. And, I like to do things at events at work and things like that, to take in people, potlucks, things like that. So I was looking for a bigger one. So I was looking through there, and I found this Black & Decker 7 quart, which is big. It's big, holds a lot. And it said on it, it had his Sous Vide starter kit. And I thought to myself, Sous Vide, I have watched videos on it. I've had a guy, before cook with it that I know, and everybody praises them, but they're kind of intimidating, because think about it. A sous vide machine is, the ones they use on these shows are like $400, $300. The cheapest one with the bowl and everything is probably over $200. So who wants to make that investment if it's not going to be the expectations are not met? So for this Black & Decker with the sous vide for under $60 that day, heck, the crock pot next to it was the same price and it didn't have this. So anyway, what we're going to do today is we are going to try it out. It's not a full review. I'm not going to show you every whistles and bells. I'm just going to show you the sous vide function on this thing. I've used it probably 30 times so far, and I'll say this, you won't be disappointed. So let's get cooking. Here it is, 7 quarts. It does basically 3 functions. It does the sous vide, of course. That's what we were talking about. It also does slow cooker options, high or low. And it also, you can use the meat probe here. Let me pull it out real quick. It has 3 different areas that you can put it in, maybe 4. And that can also be used to basically insert into a piece of meat through the lid. And you can set the temperature so when that piece of meat hits a certain temperature, you can take it out. Very, very lovely feature. Okay, so I'll just show you. I have it turned on, actually, right now. So I have it on the sous vide setting. It's warming up. I have it set for, if you check here, you can go through the different functions to say I have it set at 132. It'll say what the actual temperature is, and it'll also say like the time. So I have it set for 2 hours because the meat I'm going to cook, I'll explain later, is not a good piece of meat, just to prove it works well. So anyway, little things it comes with. So it comes with this cookbook. You can look through it if you want. It has different recipes. I particularly am not a recipe guy. So, even though it has some good stuff in there, no thank you. I just don't do recipes. This one has some basic functions of the machine. I guess this is more important than a recipe book, but it actually tells you, what buttons do, things like that. Let's explain this. So this, in other sous vide machines, is a rack that you would stick maybe, your pieces of meat, some things that might float, kind of keeps them down. You slide them in there. But to tell you the truth, works great in a rectangular shaped vessel, but you put this in an oval. No, sorry, I have not found a use for this yet. I guess maybe if you're cooking like one piece of meat right in the middle of this cooker, I think they just put it in there because a lot of sous vide machines come with that stuff. So this will come up to temperature, and while that's coming up, I'll be right back, and we'll look at the piece of meat that we're gonna cook in this thing. All right, we're back. You can see I have the 2 pieces of meat here, but let's talk about this first. So when you watch your sous vide videos or whatnot on YouTube or whatever channel you watch things on, what are people always cooking in their sous vide? These $400 sous vides. They're cooking ribeye, New York strips, oh, filet mignon. We're not going to do that here. At least not today. Maybe some other time. Not today. Because this is a $60 unit. If it can cook this, which I'll explain to you what it is here in a second, under a close-up, it can cook anything. So let's get close up, look at this thing, and I'll explain it to you what a ranch steak is all about. Hi everybody, here is the champion prime meat that I was talking about. If you can't hear the sarcasm in my voice, then something's wrong with you. But anyway, this is from a shoulder of the beef that I cut up a couple days ago. So this is in the end pieces. You can see this is not anything that looks that desirable. You have a lot of tallow running through here on both of them. You do have some fat mixed in there, but really not that much. This is more like a London broil type beef, and the grains run in different directions, so you don't even know which way to even cut it sometimes after it's cooked. So we will put this, in the sous vide for 2 hours. This is a type of meat that you'd normally chunk up in the squares and put into beef stew for hours on a slow cooker. So we'll see what it does in 2 hours in the sous vide. I'll be right back. So anyway, most people that watch sous vide videos, maybe you haven't, realize that you should have some sort of vacuum system. Eventually you will. You can always, put it in Ziploc bags and get as much air out as you want, with a straw, or submerge the bag so it pushes the air out and zip it. You could do that at first. Nothing. It even comes with a couple Ziploc bags, so that's fine if you want to try it that way first. This is a food saver. I've probably had this for 3 years now. It's one of the older units. Now on Amazon, you can buy like ones that are like half this size and do the same thing, probably for a third of the price, if not cheaper. So what we're gonna do here is we have the 2 pieces of meat. One of them, the worst cut, with the least amount of fat. We're gonna just put salt and pepper. That way it's the true test. If this thing can come out good, anything can come out good. The other one has a little bit more fat to it, a little bit more marbling, not much. It does have a bigger piece of tallow through there. But I'm gonna put some onions, jalapenos, salt, pepper. That's about it on this thing. Maybe a little butter in there with it too, just to show you how good it can be and how easy it can be. I mean, this video is longer than it would take you to prep all this. So anyway, get them all in close up and we'll get back to that. Let's get good. See you good, everybody. Black pepper, great value. Just to let you know, I've worked for many food companies, so Great Value actually is probably either Morton or one of the actually more expensive brands making this. I worked for a lot of food companies and we made Great Value, and it was the same recipe as the top name brand, so don't ever shy away from it. It's usually very similar. So I'm going to pepper everything up. Now you have to remember, when you do sous vide, you might want to go just a little bit more generous. And at first I doubted that, but it's very true. I think it's just because it sits in this sort of like, it sits in its own juices. So you have to also imagine it's not really getting into the meat. Like this one here, like literally, it's an inch thick. So I do put a little extra. This is some coarse sea salt. I love the coarse because it kind of rips up the meat when you rub it in. Lets things get in there. And please, really think it's really not that much salt. Trust me, when you're done, after it cooks, and then you grill it or however you finish it off, a lot of that stuff isn't there anymore. It'll fall off. The juices will push it out. So get everything on here, and then we'll get to the last stage of this bigger one that I was talking about. So I decided not to put any butter on this bigger one, but here we go. So I like things spicy. So all I did, if you want to see, is I cut a jalapeno right down the middle. I left the seeds in and everything. I don't know if these jalapenos are hot. Looks like I only need 3. Separate them out a little bit. Then I'm going to take these onions, and trust me on this, they don't have to be They do not have to be sitting right on the meat. These onions will find their way. The juices will find their way in. So anyway, let's get these in some Ziploc bags. So, or not Ziploc, sorry. I do have 2 prepared food saver bags. I always turn them inside out a little bit. That way when I stick to say this bit, to say there was a lot of juices on this, I'll rearrange this once it's in there. Trust me. Once you get all the, actually the onions, I keep that one right on the bottom. They will get stuck to where they're going. Get this all untangled. Get the food saver right up there. These onions are being pesky. Pesky little critters. Normally if you don't put the jalapenos on there, or you just put the onions on the other side, it makes it a lot easier. I was just put them on both the same side to make for presentation, I guess. So here we go. In there, we'll do the back seal. I know it's loud. Maybe the newer ones are more quiet and quicker. I don't know. And there she is. Now she's sealing up. Well, that sealed her up. So, what you see is, got my jalapenos in there, salt, pepper, 1 onion on the back. He was the lone wolf, just had to go there. But anyway, I'm gonna vacuum the other one up. We'll pull out the sous vide machine again and place them in there. All right. So, we vacuum sealed the one that just has salt and pepper. And then we got the other one that has the big boys, jalapeno, the onions, and an onion on the back. This one will be delicious, trust me. That onion and jalapenos will permeate the whole way through the meat. It's amazing. So, like I said, if you just want a sous vide once in a while, use Ziploc bags. If you plan, once you taste this stuff, and you see how good it is, and your family sees how good it is, you'll be using it a lot because you can just leave it. What was that Ronco commercial? Set it and forget it. It's pretty much what sous vide is. Surprised they didn't market it first. But anyway, we'll get the sous vide back out, place them in there, wait 2 hours, and then I'll be back after the 2 hours and we'll pull these puppies out. Talk to you then. Well, wasn't that a quick 2 hours? Well, at least for you it was, not so much for me. They're all done. They're in the machine here. Let me take them out. Drain the water, because it is usually a lot of condensation. I usually do take out the probe because when you set down the lid, you don't want to be smashing that into the countertop and breaking your probe. Now, first one out. Man, it's surprising. Like, even with this, I can kind of smell a jalapeno. And it didn't break the seal. There's no water in there other than the juices created by the beef itself. Which you can see, there's not a whole lot of juice, which is good. It stayed inside. The second one, has some water going on. Also, same thing. Its own juices. Can't really smell anything through the bag. I was just messing with you. But anyway, I think it's more of a psychological thing. You think you can smell it through the bag. Let's got the knife here. Some people use scissors. I like a knife. Let's get going. With the knife, let's tear it open. I'm not saving any of these juices. Sometimes I will, maybe in later videos, to make a juice out of. There really isn't. These are, like I said, very lean pieces of meat, so there's not too many juices. Now this one, be kind of careful with. We're not going to save the onion or the jalapeno. You can if you want. They're very juicy. Oof. The jalapeno actually made a nice little imprint on the meat. Oop, there's that lone wolf. Look at that. It actually made a little mark on it. Anyway, get them out of the way. You know, if I wanted to make a sauce or something like that, I'd blend them up and throw it in a gravy or something to go over top of these. If you ever watch other videos, people get all crazy. They pat them dry. I'm gonna get a paper towel real quick, and then we'll get. But you know, I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like, oh, so gentle. No, you just get it. Just get it. Now, you can see these pieces of meat. Look very bland. They smell delicious. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do smell delicious. Let's get these on. I'm gonna grill them up. And I'm not gonna show that part. It's just a waste of time. You know how to grill something. Like, I'm not gonna grill them. I'm gonna use an indoor grill. Or you can put them in a saute pan. You could broil them. You could take them outside of your grill. You could smoke them at this point. They're already done. You don't have to let them rest or anything like that. They already rested. The juices didn't really come out because they're actually at medium rare. So let me grill them up, then I'll bring them back to the table, and we'll see how they taste. Okay, everybody, here's the moment. Here's the moment we waited for. A crappie steak, sous vide, in a 60 or less Black & Decker slow cooker with sous vide kit. Let's see how it turned out. I've only grilled these probably for maybe a minute on each side, minute or two, not long. You don't want to get it so long that it actually starts making your meat gray inside or overcooking it, because like I said, it's already medium rare. So you're just trying to get that crisp on there, so it actually gives it that like caramelization flavor. So here we go. The first cut, of course, and look, this knife is not even that sharp, and it's just cutting right through. Now, one thing about sous vide we have to realize is, since it's cut off from the whole air supply when it's cooking, it does take it a couple minutes to actually turn red. It'll get redder as it sits there. And like I said, this is medium rare. So let's get some more cuts. Hope I'm not blocking the camera. I'm trying not to. This is surprisingly easy to cut. I would have expected it to be way harder to cut than this. I mean, for this meat, another piece there. Now this is the one that had the jalapeno on it, everything else. So let me rearrange these. This is the last one. Let me rearrange these for you guys so you can see it. Now, like I said, this is I can smell the jalapeno and onions. It's amazing. Now this other one, the thinner one, and just salt and pepper. I'm gonna take a little bit bigger chunk off the beginning of this, just to get it off there. Now, same thing, very easy to cut. This one's a little thinner, and you can still see it has the exact same color, regardless of how thin it was. Now, I'll do the same thing, set them up. And like I said, look at this one. This one's a little bit redder just because it's been out in the oxygen a little bit longer. Now, it's basically time to try these out. So let's get to that. Well, here we are. We got our jalapeno onion, the bad boy, the yummy one, probably, we'll see. And then we are plain Jane, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper, really, this thing couldn't be more than a half-inch thick. So let's try it out. I will try the regular one first. I'm gonna go away from the, look at that, just totally floppy. It's not stiffened at all. I don't know what to say. It's a $60 machine, and it made. I've tried cooking these steaks before. It's almost like venison. If you ever had venison, that's how hard these are to cook. But it didn't come out like venison. Oh my god. It came out. Right, bite through. Just, you know why I like this? Because unlike a ribeye, this is damn near soft as ribeye. Like a ribeye you cook on a grill. I'm not saying ribeye you cook in sous vide. Ribeye you cook on a grill. Oh my god. It's unbelievable. Like, if you cook this steak for somebody and then they would think that it was a high quality steak. I'm gonna go to the next one. Nope, that's the end piece. I don't want the end piece because it's misleading. If you know. Instant in my face. Onion, jalapeno, oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm not kidding you. You gotta try it. And the jalapeno is not hot. No, it's coming through a little bit, but it's not hot. There's more of just that jalapeno taste. Onion, definitely, and jalapeno, But there's just very, 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 I mean, the jalapenos might not have been hot. You know, sometimes you buy jalapenos and they scorch your mouth, and the next one you eat, that tastes like a bell pepper. So, I didn't try any to see if they were hot, but I could definitely taste them. Oh. I could eat that all day long. All night long. Steak and eggs in the morning. Make a steak sandwich out of that thing. Because they're so, like, look at this. Look. There's no fat on this thing. There's none. I did get a little, I might have put on the grill a little too long. But holy. Alright, I'm going to finish off with this. Or I'm going to get fat. At the end of the day, a $60 machine is just as good as that guy that made me with his $300 machine. And he had a ribeye, or not, no, it wasn't ribeye. It was New York strip he cooked. And guess what? It's just as good. And maybe better. I think the difference is, with the sous vide machine, the heater's at the end. So it has to circulate. It has to. If it doesn't circulate, this side's gonna be cold, this side's gonna be hot, too hot. So in this machine, it heats the whole bottom, and then it has that ceramic insert in it, so then it heats up the sides, and I think it just makes it so even in there that it auto circulates and creates like a convection current inside of itself. Brilliant idea by Black & Decker. Brilliant. This thing works way better than I've ever dreamed it would. Good night, folks, and get cooking. So if you like my video, subscribe, click the bell, notifications. You know, I'll be making more videos. A lot of them will be with sous vide. A lot of them won't be with sous vide. A lot of them will just be smoking. A lot of them will be making pasta. A lot of it will be, you know, for those people that stay at home and take care of their families. Well, have a good night. See you later, YouTube.